the grapes of wrath is stored. He has loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible sword. His truth is marching on.
I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and damps. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. Oh, glory, glory, hallelujah, glory. Okay, I'm sorry. I've been busy compiling the breaking news as fast as it is coming. And as I was preparing to go live, more breaking news came. Folks, fellow patriots, hello America. This is yours truly, the one and only Professor Toto, the sage of sanity in the land of lunacy. That's me. It is my job. So today I'm here breaking in because nuclear news is breaking out all over America. We have waited 5 years for today. Today is July the 31st. In just a few hours, I will be flying to Iowa, Des Moines, to preach the gospel of the coming kingdom. I really did not have time to do this today, but duty calls. This is a moment, and I'm going to break it all down for you as only we can at the esteemed Conservative College. So you may want to go ahead and hit that share button. Why? Because I'm going to break down the Durham Annex. It's big. It's big. We just had more breaking news from Tulsi Gabbard. I'm going to go over all of that with you right now. As always, you're going to get the best of the story. Now, if you are subscribed free of charge to my daily blog at Substack, then you already have a lot of what I'm fixing to teach you. Because my Substack subscribers get my thoughts first. So make sure you click that QR code and subscribe now to Substack. Thousands of you already have. Thank you. All right, let's get started. It's bad, folks. It's really bad. It's really bad. First of all, Senator Chuck Grassley just declassified, literally laid it out. You wanted transparency? You got it on the once hidden Durham report. For those of you that have forgotten what the Durham report is, it was a report on the Russia hoax. And it confirms today what you and I, real Americans, people that do not live in the land of Oz, what we already knew. So collectively today, we can all sing, I told you so. We can sing it together. Number one, I'm going to give you 4 things that it has proven. It is proven that Hillary Clinton's campaign approved a plot. Yes, a plot. And I'm going to prove that in just a moment. There was a plan, a plot approved initially by Jezebel herself, Hillary Clinton, that woman that runs her husband like Jezebel did Ahab. You see, Ahab was king of Israel, but truly Jezebel was king through Ahab. Hillary Clinton was the president through Billy the Kid. It proves in this unwrapped document that she approved a plot in 2016, way back, almost 10 years ago. See, truth may be a long time coming, but when it comes, it don't take long. Suddenly, like today. She fabricated a Trump, now listen, literally fabricated. She created the Trump-Russia scandal to distract from what? Her email server scandal. And we have the receipts today to prove it. Number two, I'm going to prove to you today from this report that a foreign ally's intelligence chief alerted, according to this document, CIA Director John Brennan about Clinton's scheme, not after the fact, but before the FBI ever launched Crossfire Hurricane. I'll repeat that. A foreign government, their intelligence chief called John Brennan on the telephone and said, "Hey, John, here's what Hillary is cooking," before the FBI ever knew anything about it. Number three, this report proves that Hussein Obama, Joe Biden, James Comey, and John Brennan were all, every one of them, yes, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, they were all briefed according to this transparent document today on Clinton's dirty trick, and they all said nada, nothing. 4-year, the Durham report, 4-year-long investigation, 4 years. Special counsel John Durham has delivered his verdict after the 4 years on one of the most consequential political scandals in American history. You lived through it. You watched it. The findings are damning. Nuclear is the word. The implications are staggering, my fellow American. They are handcuff worthy. And this is what we needed to do the clink clink on the stink stink. This is the day in American history, 7/31/25, when truth has prevailed and you have been vindicated and the media has been eviscerated. Every patriotic American under the sound of my voice needs to understand what really happened during the FBI Crossfire Hurricane investigation. Here's the bottom line before we dig into the details. Professor Toto is going to dive in there with you today. But here's the bottom line. When I'm done with the details, here's the bottom line. The Durham report found that the Department of Injustice had no proper basis to ever launch an investigation. And neither agency, and I quote, appears to have possessed any actual evidence. That's a direct quote from a non-biased special prosecutor. They had no actual evidence of any collusion. That's what Durham said. Let that sink in. This is what is on the documents today that Grassley has released. That quote, you can go read it with your very own eyes. He said they had no evidence, none. Witch hunt. After years of investigation, surveillance, and media hysteria, there was never one shred, underline that word in your mind, one shred of actual evidence. There was media hysteria, and the nation fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. The Durham report has made America look like what they are: gullible, uneducated, and unable to reason beyond the moment, the temper of the times. Professor Toto told every one of you for 4 years, I was the very one that gave you the phrase, the temper of the times. I told you, when the temper of the times have subsided, the truth will come out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to that day, 7/31/25. You've arrived at the moment. I told you so. I told you this day would come. Let me give you a direct quote from these revealed papers. Are you ready? Based on the review of Crossfire Hurricane and related intelligence activities, we conclude that the Justice Department and the FBI failed to uphold their important mission of strict fidelity to the law in connection with certain events and activities described in this report. That is a direct quote from Durham. The FBI, the Department of Injustice, failed to do what? Keep the law. Obey the law. Go by the law. They are our law enforcement agency that totally disregarded the law. This is damning. This is nuclear. This is clink clink for the stink stink. It is time. My friends, what you're hearing from this mouth of the sage of sanity, the watcher of we the people, is not political spin. Oh, far be it from me. This is the conclusion of a 4-year, nonpartisan federal investigation, finally revealed for us to read. And read I can. Let me tell you about a document. Are you ready? A document that was brought to light today before our very eyes that blows this thing wide open. Oh, we have the receipts. John Durham, the Senator Grassley, has given us the receipts. It's in the Durham Annex. It is an internal communication from a man by the name of Leonard Bernardo. Now, if you do not know Leonard Bernardo, he is George Soros' right-hand man. He's right there in the upper echelon of the Soros empire, the Open Society Foundation. Well, he wrote a little note. Yes, he did. And it wound up in the Durham report. And I'm fixing to read it to you, my fellow patriots. In this note that never was supposed to come to light, here is a direct quote from Leonard Bernardo. He said, and I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to read the quote, and then I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to break it down. I quote, HRC approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers. That should distract people from her own missing emails. In absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike and Threat Connect will supply the media, and GRU will hopefully carry on to give more facts. Wow. Are you ready for the translation of that? I hope you are. The bottom line, they manufactured a scandal. George Soros' orbit, his little world, knew about it. The Clinton team planned it, and the Obama team allowed it. Let's take that line by line. Are you ready? Let's start with the first line. HRC approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers. All right. HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Who is Julia? Julia is a Clinton campaign associate who came up with the strategy. So Julia, it's her idea. She goes to her Jezebel lesbian mama HRC and proposes the idea because Hillary's too dumb to have an idea. And Hillary liked the idea from Julia. What was the idea? I'll tell you. It was to claim that Trump was colluding with Russia to get the American people scared of Donald Trump's Russian connections, that America would be controlled by Soviet Stalinistic Russia, creating a manufactured scandal around Russian interference. So Clinton, according to this internal note from Soros, HRC approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers. Let's go to the next line. Ready? Quote, that should distract people from her own missing email. Now, this line reveals what every prosecutor needs: intent. Motive. There it is. He just gave away the intent. Put Hillary Clinton behind bars, Pam Bondi. We have the motive. We have the intent. Oh, yes, we do. So there's your motive: to hide her own email, that were her own missing emails. It was designed as a distraction. There's the receipts, folks, for her own email server, which was damaging her campaign. If you'll go back to that time, the email scandal was sinking Hillary. How do we stop it? We create the great distraction. That's exactly what we do. See, this was not just dirty politics, my friend. It was an intentional diversion from Clinton's own criminal liability with missing emails. Next line. Quote, in absence of direct evidence, wow, just whoa, they are admitting there is no direct evidence. It's absent. So in absence of direct evidence, which we do not have, CrowdStrike and Threat Connect will feed the media. Bam. Wow. Who is CrowdStrike? I'm glad you asked. Who is Threat Connect? I'm glad you asked. They are cybersecurity firms used by the Democratic National Convention, and they had deep connections with the Clinton apparatus. This confirms that even without proof, a friendly third-party firm were hired, CrowdStrike and Threat Connect, to feed the media with a steady diet of narrative. No direct evidence. No. We're going to hire CrowdStrike, Threat Connect. They're going to feed the media every day. And the media is going to feed the people. And the people are going to eat it up. I'm so glad I'm not one of them. I'm so glad I saw through it from day one and I stood by the right man. I thank God for that today. They knew they didn't have evidence, so they fabricated credibility through technical experts and media echo chambers. Next, go to the next line. Quote, and GRU will hopefully carry on to give more facts. Who is GRU? It's Russia's military intelligence agency, and they are saying that they hope that the Russian GRU one day would do something, anything, to validate their narrative. Wow. There it is. 5 years you've waited. This was all, by the way, in that report. John Durham knew this happened. So now me and John Durham have problems. Yeah. Little chicken in wolf clothing. I'm going to get to John in a minute. The FBI ignored it. The FBI, this did not fit their narrative. The evidence, and let me read a quote from the Durham report. Okay. I'm going to read this quote for you. In short, it is the office's assessment that the FBI discounted or willfully ignored material information that did not support the narrative of a collusive relationship between Trump and Russia. Your FBI did that. Think about what this means, my fellow patriots. By the way, please share this. I'm just getting started. There is so much more fixing to come your way. Hit that share button, the love button, the like. Help me get up the algorithm. This truth, nobody's going to put it out if you don't. Okay? The FBI had evidence that contradicted. Now, back up. They just said they had no evidence about a Russia collusion. No evidence. But they had evidence against it that contradicted their narrative. And they deliberately ignored it. Any other prosecutor in America would be thrown in prison for this. They would be locked away, never to see the light of day again for a miscarriage. We trust these people to carry out justice, not agendas. You have violated the corporate trust of these United States of America, and more importantly, we the people. Professor Toto is the watchman of we the people, and I've come to tell you, you have committed treason against the integrity of this great nation. Lindsey Graham, who I'm not a fan of, actually put it perfectly. He said not only could the FBI not verify the Steele dossier, the essential foundation of their surveillance warrant, they ignored exculpatory evidence and illegally altered evidence to continue the investigation. Folks, that's called fraud. The Steele dossier, according to the Durham report, a house of cards. The media treated it as gospel truth. It was never even verified. Yet it became the foundation of FISA warrants that allowed our government to spy on American citizens. And lest we forget, let me see if I can pull something up for you. Don't go anywhere. Let's go, and I want you to go look at something, if you will. Go to my Substack and click right there and scroll down till you find the story right here, convicted without collusion. Let's not forget that the people you're looking at here, their lives were destroyed. American citizens by this crime, not just Donald Trump. These people are in prison, several of them, because of the Durham report. You really should be subscribed to my Substack. Don't go nowhere. I've got to refresh my page. Let me ask you a question before I move. Can you see me? I didn't realize my screen was frozen. Give me a second, folks. Can you see me or no? Somebody said my screen is... I don't know if you can see me or not. Let's try this again. Give me 1 second. For some reason, I'm frozen. This is the beauty of live. It's the beauty of live. I don't know if you can see me or not. Anyway, I'm going to carry on because I'm out of time here, and time is of the essence. All right. I suppose hearing me is really all that matters right now. I pray you can see me, but let's continue. Let's talk about the patriots, those patriots that, not all of them are patriots, but human beings nonetheless, that paid with their own lives for this travesty of justice. It truly is a shame, to say the least. So let's not forget, this had real world effects. This crime was not a victimless crime. Now, we just had breaking news moments ago. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Camper. Thank you, Barb. This news just came down the pike. Thank you, Eric Chipman. From the office of the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, the Department of National Intelligence, a whistleblower, yes, a whistleblower, has now revealed how they were threatened by a supervisor to go along with the Obama-directed Russia hoax intelligence assessment, even though they knew it was not credible or accurate. The whistleblower's first-hand account of what happened in the crafting of that 2017 ICA, Tulsi Gabbard said thank you to this courageous whistleblower and others who are beginning to come forward, because why? That truth gumbo pot is cooking, children. It's just a cooking. And she said they're putting their own well-being on the line to defend our republic and to ensure the American people know the truth. And you can read that entire whistleblower testimony. I have a link to it in my Substack today. You can read their whole test. It's declassified. What does this mean for America? The Durham report reveals something far more dangerous, my friends, than a single corrupt investigation. It exposed a weaponized federal bureaucracy, willing to subvert the rule of law to achieve political objectives. Here's what we've learned from the report. The FBI launched a full investigation without any justification. That's scary, folks. They ignored evidence that contradicted what they wanted to achieve. That's scary, folks. They relied on unverified opposition research from Hillary Clinton and Julia. That's scary, folks. They made false statements to secure surveillance warrants. Hello, that's scary. They continued the investigation when evidence pointed away from their own theory. Here's what that means, my fellow Americans. If they did this to a presidential candidate who's got enough money to fight them in court, they can do this to any of you and I that do not have access to proper legal counsel. The Russia collusion narrative that dominated American politics for years was built on a foundation of pudding. Media outlets that promoted this hoax They owe the American people an apology, a big, loud, eat crow apology. You insulted our intelligence and got mad that we were insulted. Republicans in Congress, it is time to use these findings to demand accountability. If not, we will see you at the polls. Now, while Durham was focused on the Department of Justice and the FBI, don't ever forget the media's complicity in this. For years, they breathlessly reported every leak from CrowdStrike, every accusation, every conspiracy theory as fact. They didn't give us journalism. They gave us judgmentalism. They turned unverified claims into front page headlines and primetime segments for years. Where are the retractions? I'm waiting. Where's the apologies? Where's the accountability for misleading the American people for years? This is not speculation. This is not opinion anymore. This is no longer conspiracy theory. This is documented, corroborated. This, ladies and gentlemen, was a real insurrection. Not by patriots waving flags on January the 6th, but by bureaucrats and donors in D.C. and Davos. This was a coordinated information op to frame a presidential candidate. This was a weaponized DOJ and a media partnership, a mass deception operation carried out on American soil, and we will not stay silent with the evidence now in our hands. And what was the biggest betrayal? The FBI hid this from its own agents that go to work every day, trusting their leaders. Let me read a direct quote from this unclassified, declassified report. This comes from a senior FBI official admitting, you can go read it, if I had known about Clinton's plan, I would have been much more skeptical of the Steele dossier. But by then it was too late. The Russia hoax was off and running, costing our nation millions, years of chaos, and the smearing of a duly, legitimately elected president. And Durham, let's talk about Durham. I told you I'd get to his chicken guts. Let's just call it like it is. Durham had the goods. He had the annex. He had the motive. He had the names. But instead of filing a criminal conspiracy case, which has no statute of limitations, by the way, let me put that little tidbit of information out there. There's no statute of limitations on criminal conspiracy. Instead of doing that, Durham gave us a history report, a polite shrug, a white glove slap on the wrist. Why? Because even in the land of liberty, the swamp runs deep. And the truth, if unpunished, dies with a whimper. What's the verdict, my fellow Americans? You decide. It's up to the people now. The patriots who see, who can think, who can act. Will the GOP leadership use this to file criminal referrals? If not, you're over with. Will the media outlets apologize for their complicity? Will we, the people, demand justice or just let the clock run out. No, now we've got the receipts. It's wake up time in America. The Durham Report is not just a historical document, it's a roadmap for reform. And here's what needs to happen. Number one, there must be immediate congressional hearings with FBI leadership. Professor Toto is demanding it on behalf of Toto's army. Congressional hearings, not with little lower echelons. We want FBI leadership from that time sitting in a congressional hearing. Number two, we want criminal referrals to the Department of Justice for those who strategized this hoax, for those who implemented it, and those who ignored it. Number three, we want an inspector general investigation into the ongoing practices. Here's why. Barack Obama is immune from everything he did while president. You can't get around that. It is what it is. And I'm grateful that sitting presidents have immunity. The only thing he does not have immunity for is the ongoing cover-up after he left the White House. That, my friends, has criminal culpability. And then we want media accountability for their role in spreading fake news. In the long term, we must have stricter oversight of the FISA applications. Independent review of politically sensitive investigations. There must be an independent board that has nothing to do with our government on politically sensitive investigations. There must be protection for Americans against government surveillance abuse. There must be consequences for federal employees who violate their oath. Here's the bigger picture. This was never about Trump. President Trump was the target. This scandal reveals something much larger, my fellow Americans. It shows how our federal law enforcement agencies can be weaponized against political opponents. It demonstrates how the media can be so easily manipulated to spread government propaganda. That's why many of you are watching me right now. That's why you watch me every Tuesday night live at 7 Central. If you don't, shame on you. You should. But the reason is because we have evidence. The media cannot be trusted. Independent journalism that's not being paid is our only source of news. It proves that the deep state is no longer a conspiracy theory. It's a clear and present danger to our great republic. The Durham Report confirms what we've known all along. What can you do? That's the question I want to answer today. Well, first of all, we cannot let this news report disappear in the news cycle. We have to share it. Every one of you watching me right now, the question in your mind is, well, I can't do anything. Stop. Stop. In your hand, there's a mouse. You can click that mouse on a share button. And what did you just do? You kept this story alive. Why? Because in your social media world is real eyes. You don't think they're reading your stuff? Of course they are. And that power of your mouse is more powerful than CNN. You're able to share it with your friends, your world. We cannot let this story die. Discuss it. Talk about this. Go write down what I've told you in this report and discuss it with your friends, your enemies, your work associates. Say, hey, what about that Durham report, bruh? You heard me? What about, we now got the evidence that all that was a big hoax. Talk about it. Rile people up. Don't care who gets, you don't want to be offended. That's what's wrong with the lowdown world. We've all become a bunch of millie mouths instead of mighty mouths. Say something. Get the conversation started. Pastors, tell your church what just happened to America for 5 years. After all, the IRS has now, thanks to Donald Trump, lifted the gag order on preachers. We can preach against any politician, say anything we want to again. Thank you, Donald Trump, by the way. You can read all about that in my Substack. I've got a whole report on that. Demand your representatives to take action. Every American under my voice should be on the phone now with your representative in Washington, D.C., demanding they take action on the Durham report. I promise you, when those calls are flooding in, they feel the heat. The Durham report is proof that when we fight for truth, truth always wins. Contact your senator, your representatives. Tell them you want to see criminal referrals for the names in the Durham report. Share these findings on your social media and then support the candidates who will reform our federal agencies. For 4 years, we were told that questioning the Russia investigation made you a conspiracy theorist. Many of you, your own family turned on you. We were told that demanding the evidence made you unpatriotic. We were told that supporting President Trump made you a threat to democracy. But the Durham report proves you were right. They were wrong. But actually, this really isn't about vindication. It's about justice. It's about ensuring that no American, regardless of political party, ever has to endure what President Trump and his supporters went through for 4 years. The truth is out. And now it's time to act on it. By the way, the full Durham report is available at justice.gov. You can go read it for yourself, share it with others. The American people deserve to know the truth about what their government did in their name. So know, my fellow Americans, this isn't about Trump. It's about truth. It's about treason. It's about taking our republic back from those that play God behind closed curtains. But the Durham Annex is now public. The lies are exposed. The silence is broken. And now Professor Toto has done what I've done for nearly 5 years. Today, I pulled the curtain back for you so you could see behind it all and know the truth. God bless you, and may God bless these United States of America. Good day, my friends. Now you know the best of the story.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. And thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands.